Greater Media Broadcast News.
Welcome to another edition of Greater Media Broadcast News. I'm Susie Xie, and here are this week's top headlines from Central New Jersey. They're as synonymous with New Jersey as the Garden State Parkway, and there's probably one off every exit. Indeed, diners have played an important role in the lives of residents of local communities. They are an institution, and their charm hasn't waned for those seeking a place to hunker down for some comfort food on the cheap, or for those looking for a place to belong. This week, the owners of eateries from the Metuchen Diner to the Broadway Diner in Red Bank tell Greater Media newspapers how they are able to gain loyal customers and keep them coming back day after day. For the Americana Diner in Shrewsbury, it's about plugging into the community, sponsoring local sports teams, and donating to churches and schools. For the Peter Pank Diner in Sayreville, it's about family, namely the tight-knit group of employees and customers who look out for one another. Owners say close relationships are as much a trademark of the New Jersey Diner as the late nights and heaping platefuls. And that is why they continue to beckon throughout the centuries. Many people enjoy a glass or bottle of wine now and then, but how many people know how it's made? Well, if you stop by Sayreville, you can find out. Here's Jennifer Amato.
With the seasons changing, fall is the perfect time to begin the winemaking process. Although Sayreville may not come to mind when thinking of the world's top wine regions, Joe Guarino is trying to change that. Guarino recently opened Grapes and Barrels, a hands-on winemaking facility off Journey Mill Road. The process begins with the harvesting of grapes and then involves crushing, pressing, bracking, and bottling the wine. The fermentation process takes 2 to 3 months, followed by aging, which is 8 to 10 months. However, participants at Grapes and Barrels can join any step of the process, as the facility offers wines made from fresh grapes, select juices, or frozen grape must. Group and corporate events are available, and workshops and wine tastings are planned for the coming months. For more on Grapes and Barrels, see this week's editions of Greater Media newspapers. Back to you, Susie.
And here's Mark Rosman with more headlines from this week's papers.
This week's edition of Greater Media newspapers has a feature about the Henry Hudson Trail, which runs through portions of Monmouth County and can be accessed in Freehold and Marlborough. It's a nice thing to do on a fall afternoon and gives you a chance to get away from things that really can't be seen in everyday hectic life around Monmouth County. I hope you'll take the opportunity, if you have the chance, to take some time and get out on the Henry Hudson Trail. You'll learn more about it in this week's edition of Greater Media newspapers. This week's edition of the Tri-Town News has a feature on Jackson native Jerica Young, who's actually been featured in the paper when she was a student at Jackson Memorial High School and has gone on to continue her acting career. She's recently landed a role as convicted killer Jodi Arias in an upcoming episode of a series that appears on the Investigative Discovery Channel. It's quite a coup for a young actress, and I think you'll enjoy reading about her in this week's edition of the Tri-Town News.
And here's a roundup of headlines from this week's papers. September 16th is the deadline for 2012 reimbursement applications under the state's Senior Freeze Property Tax Relief Program. The program applies to residents age 65 and older, or for those who have been receiving Social Security disability benefits. For a list of program specifics, see your Greater Media newspaper today. A bill has been drafted that would cap the salaries of certain government employees. Sponsored by New Jersey Senator Sam Thompson, the legislation would prohibit salaries to rise beyond $141,000 and would prevent double dipping where public officials receive compensation for multiple positions. It is the 150th anniversary of the Slocum murder trial, where West Long Branch resident Peter Slocum was hanged for murdering his wife Abigail, the mother of their 4 children. A century and a half later, there are still questions to be asked and answered, and the Historical Society of Ocean Grove will hold a special presentation about the trial. For more details, see this week's edition of the Atlanticville. The organization Big Brothers Big Sisters of Monmouth and Middlesex counties will partner with Red Bank School District to provide a mentoring system for middle school students. Red Bank Regional High School students will be paired with middle schoolers to provide guidance every other week starting in October. And here's Andrew Martins reporting on the Starland Ballroom.
For the first time in nearly a year, rock and roll returned to the Starland Ballroom in Sayreville on Friday, September 6th. National acts, the Stone Temple Pilots and Filter were the first to grace the stage, marking a triumphant return for the rock venue. Starland spokesman John Venna estimated that 6 feet of water rushed into the building during Superstorm Sandy, causing extensive damage that required nearly 70,000 man-hours to repair. To commemorate the venue's return, Sayreville Mayor Kennedy O'Brien declared September 6th as Starland Ballroom Day and through the borough. Over 40 events are scheduled for the remainder of 2013, including national acts like Clutch and Streetlight Manifesto. For the full story and photos of the Starland Ballroom's reopening, go to gmnews.com.
September marks National Hunger Month, and a local food bank is working to feed the hungry. Here's Keith Hugh Miller.
We're currently in the middle of Hunger Action Month, a nationwide campaign designed to raise awareness and support for the countless food insecure families across America. This week we examine how Superstorm Sandy and a lingering economic downturn have created a superstorm of need across our region, and how Middlesex, Monmouth, and Ocean counties have become the front line in the fight against hunger. We spoke to one representative with the Food Bank of Monmouth and Ocean County who explained how applications for food stamps in these three counties are rising faster than anywhere else in the state. We also spoke to some Monmouth County officials who explained the need for local food pantries and the unique services they provide, which are really making a difference.
Gloria Stravelli has an update on the local art scene.
A new gallery will open in the Atlantic Highlands this Friday. The Second Story Art Gallery will host its first exhibit of paintings and prints by artist and gallery owner Robert O'Connor. Titled Bending Me Powerless, this new body of painterly works was born during the blackout following Superstorm Sandy. O'Connor remembers feeling very isolated, like most of us, and says the storm was a powerful reminder of our mortality and fragility. The name of the gallery, Second Story Art Gallery, refers not just to its location above the Painted Frame shop at 78 First Avenue, but to O'Connor's intention to feature exhibits of works that tell a story, that have a narrative or another element to them. With these images, O'Connor has made something beautiful out of the destruction that visited the Jersey Shore last October. You can see this exhibit in our newspapers or on our website. And please send us news of arts events in your community. Remember to support the arts. They add zest to your life.
Monmouth Medical Center will be hosting a tree lighting event to raise funds for childhood cancer research. Nicole Antonucci has the story.
A different kind of tree lighting was held in Seabright last Friday as citizens gathered to raise awareness of childhood cancer. The September 6th event featured cancer survivors and supporters of Make Some Noise, Cure Kids Cancer Foundation, started by a 13-year-old cancer survivor whose dream is to put an end to the disease. Although the survival rate is now at 85%, more research is needed. Lieutenant Governor Kim Kodana reminded the audience that the same event last year resulted in a $20 million increase in research funds in New Jersey. The celebration continued with a moment of silence to honor those lost to the childhood disease, followed by the decorating of the tree in ribbons of gold, the color for childhood cancer. To read the journey behind Make Some Noise, visit gmnews.com.
For more in-depth coverage and additional stories, pick up your Greater Media newspaper today. This is Susie Shea. Thanks for tuning in.